We have this story from Timcast.com. Trump comments on whether he would accept House speakership. Several House Republicans have nominated the former president for Speaker of the House. Trump was nominated for speakership by several House Republicans after California Rep. Kevin McCarthy was ousted. And we have this this video from the post-millennial. Let's, well, I'll just give you the quote because we don't need to play the full, 1 minute and 47-second clip. All I can say is we'll do whatever's best for the country and for the Republican Party, which is to say Donald Trump doesn't want to say outright no, which is to say he would consider taking this position if that's what actually happens. I don't think he wants to come out and say, yes, of course, I'm going to do it. It's going to be great, because I'm not so sure he actually wants to do it. I think he's saying this because he's putting a placeholder in it. In the event he has a meeting with several prominent Republicans and they come out and say, actually, maybe it should be a third party. It should be you, Donald. And the funny thing about this is that this was actually a scenario proposed by a lot of people, almost a year ago, or I should say, 6 or however many months ago, when people were talking about Speaker of the House. People were saying Trump should get nominated as Speaker. And this is 2022. This is like a year ago. And then after they impeach Biden and Kamala, he becomes president.
I mean, look, anything can happen. I'm not one to make predictions or dismiss other people's predictions at this point. It's been a crazy past couple of years. If you came to me at the very beginning of 2020 and you accurately predicted what the next 3 years were going to look like, I would have told you that you're completely out of your mind. So I'm not going to dismiss that. It could possibly happen. What do you guys think?
There's also lots of little...
Try to speak into the mic if you can.
There's also lots of little leverage points from this that are kind of interesting. Like you could do it on a temporary basis and then just stack the House Appropriations Committee to zero out the very Justice Department that's in charge of the criminal proceed. I mean, if you game theory this out, him in a speaker position with people in a caucus who are willing to back him, it could actually throw a monkey wrench in a lot of things that are being done to him. And the question is if they raise the stakes this way, we're already seeing what the Justice Department and FBI are doing the other way. I don't know if we're even going to be able to have elections or if it's going to go full Ukraine style if a move like that is attempted by Trump.
I say screw it. Put him in there. I think it's better off than any other politician out there. The paperwork has been officially filed to even make this something that's going to be probably up for a vote. So why the hell not?
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, Matt Gaetz was saying that the Republicans were sending everybody home to go cry about it, that it's all about one guy, because they've recessed until Tuesday, which hopefully is good for us for the event on Friday. But Matt's bent out of shape about it, saying they should be doing their jobs and voting on a new speaker. And he's right. I wonder what the point of a recess is, to be completely honest. What's the point? Well, okay, he's out. Now we're going to go home. No, well, why wouldn't you just do your jobs? These people don't want to work.
Yeah, politicians don't work. They steal. They're professional thieves. They're liars. They're con artists. And they're people that should not be trusted with any kind of faith at all. So with this news, I think the more likely scenario, I mean, we could all kind of speculate here and talk about Trump being the Speaker of the House. But the most likely scenario here that's going to unfold is that there's probably going to be a lot more infighting. There probably won't be a Speaker of the House. And because of that, there's going to be stagnation in Washington, D.C., and that to me is a beautiful thing. It's a wonderful thing. I don't want government doing anything. I don't want government running my life. I don't want government telling me what to do. I don't want more regulations. I don't want more taxes. I don't want more rules. I think the situation we have right now is the most perfect situation for the American people, and that is a Congress that doesn't have a speaker and can't act.
You know what? I'm going to be honest. I don't agree with everything Luke says. I think oftentimes he gets things wrong. I think often even when he says something correct, he says it in such an indecipherably difficult to understand way that you can't make heads or tails of it. But I would agree with most of that. I'd be very happy if the government was less able to do any of the things.
But you agreed with that point.
I agree with that point. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right about that. Yeah,
the problem is the House is the one branch of government right now that Republicans control. Then you're basically defanging the one thing right now that's doing oversight hearings on everything from COVID origins, where it just got released that the CIA was bribing analysts to change their analysis on origins, that they were chauffeuring Fauci around into these secret meetings on it. And all this is, and on the censorship side, there were so many things like the Jim Jordan subpoena to get all that. If you neuter the House, you sort of neuter the resistance to the federal agencies. So I'm not I'm more on the put Trump in there than shut it down thing.
I think the more likely scenario is that no one's going to be in there. And to the point that you brought up, I do wonder why the CIA was bribing analysts to cover up the origin of the sickness that we all had to deal with, that EcoHealth Alliance and their organization and other seedy parts of the government were involved in as well. I wonder why they were trying to cover up exactly what happened to the people of the world with that particular sickness that they had their fingerprints on.
I just want to mention something, Mike. I think it turned me around on this one. I agreed with Luke a moment ago, but I think I'm on Team Mike here. I would more or less say that your
a
position
very
makes more
political
sense.
answer. That's what a flip-flopping politician would do.
Look, I'm willing
And I
to
think
change
that's
my
why-
mind based on new information. I think he made a good point. I hadn't considered it when you were speaking.
My role here is I'm the arms supply in the Ukraine-Russia war here, so just whoever can get the arms on their side to win it, I'm happy to do that. But as what Luke, you just said is really interesting about the relationship between EcoHealth Alliance, because you noted they were involved. I mean, it was more than involved. USAID paid them $53 million, and USAID has a very long history as being a conduit for CIA activity.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a lot more on that particular thing.
So is a suggestion that Trump as Speaker of the House would be as ineffective on a lot of core issues?
It's more like if there's no speaker, then there's really no ability to have committees functioning in an effective way. And some of the pushback right now on the censorship space coming out of the Oversight Committee, Judiciary Weaponization, House Homeland Security, all of that is House driven, not Senate, not outside. Only they can really get access through subpoenas to some of the sensitive documents.
But people got to weigh the kind of decisions of what's happening here, because a lot of people are very critical of the House, saying specifically they gave Biden an unlimited budget. They're not investigating his family. They're not investigating Fauci. They're not doing what they're told. They're rolling over and allowing pure just pandemonium, allowing the Democrats to essentially have their way with them. And some people are arguing, okay, maybe we'll get some committees and some investigation, but is it worth an open border? Is it worth, the possibility of World War III? Is it worth, unlimited spending, destroying the U.S. economy from the inside? Is it worth it?
How is it that the Republicans win a majority and it doesn't change? It is the same thing as it was under Democrats. And that is why it was right for Matt Gaetz to remove Kevin McCarthy. At the very least, we get obstruction.
And if you remember when the Republicans won the House, that's the same exact point we made on this particular show, saying about this particular situation. Everyone was celebrating. Everyone's like, we did it. We got the Republicans in, not by as much as we wanted and thought, but we did it. And I'm like, this is going to be irrelevant. This is not going to matter. This is going to be politics as usual. And that's exactly what happened until Matt Gaetz got involved and said, you know what, I'm actually going to try to represent some of the will of the American people that are discontent and pissed off with Congress screwing them over.
But so, and yes, and that was my point. We kept saying on this show, we want the Republicans to win, more so for the establishment and anti-establishment reasons. But even if they do, we realize nothing's going to change. And it is to a certain degree worse than that. What happens is when Democrats get in, they smash and destroy. When Republicans get in, they run secret backroom deals with Democrats to smash and destroy. Mm-hmm. There is no opposition party in this country. What the Democrats do is the machine's agenda, and the Republicans are a pressure release valve for Americans who are sick of having the boot stamped all over their face. But they can't stop it. Now you get Matt Gaetz and 7 other Republicans who are saying, now we can put some pressure on the system and make these changes with tremendous power, because they're willing to push back on Republicans, on the establishment, on the leadership, and they do, and boy, are they all losing their minds. Look, I like Lauren Boebert, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Thomas Massie, but I've lost a decent amount of respect for them. I still like them. They still do good things, but they're illogical defense of Kevin McCarthy. They have no justification, and I will spare no one this. There is no logical argument to the American people who despise Congress to the tune of 82% disapproval for them to say, we're going to keep on keeping on and kick the can down the road. The only thing, if I was in Congress, there's no argument you can make. Yeah, but we're making small gains here and there. Kevin McCarthy is getting us this, that. I'd be like, nope. The American people despise Congress. They're sick of everything of how this machine is being run. And the omnibus spending bill is basically every single September, Congress spits in the face of the American people and laughs about it. And then finally, when someone says, Matt Gaetz and his other 7 Republicans, hey, you know what? we're going to give a middle finger, at the very least, to the Speaker of the House who wants to maintain this system, because the negotiations were he wasn't going to do this. Then what do we see? Thomas Massey say, if you do this, this institution will fail. Good, Thomas Massey. I don't think you can make an argument to me. Maybe you've got insider knowledge, but it doesn't matter to me. I'm not in Congress, and I don't care, other than there is garbage in these omnibus bills, massive funding for ridiculous garbage internationally, funding for war that's never been justified to the American people, and then you say we should be worried about the institution failing. I don't care. I literally don't. We must rebirth that institution, and maybe it should be. It should fail so that we can go and clean it up and rebuild it. Thanks for watching this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. Hang out with us live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. and become a member over at timcast.com for uncensored, members-only shows exclusive. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all next time.